Hi everyone, Miss Martin here. This video is for anyone that's not able to join our live chats today. At the end of this video you will find the 3 questions for you to answer after we review food chains, predators, and prey. So our goal is I can explain the relationship between predators and their prey. As you can see here we have a bear with a nice big salmon in his teeth. Before we get started, I wanted to share a quick video about what do animals eat. And I want you to look for ways that animals are similar to you in their eating habits. And try to see exactly what types of things they're eating. Alright, so as you can see we saw many different types of animals there. Some were eating plants and seeds, others were eating other animals. So let's first review our assignment from Monday, the big questions we had after watching the video of why would a hawk move to New York City was, what were the pigeons in New York afraid of? What is a predator? What is a food chain? In the video, what does the beetle eat at Mystery Doug's house? What eats the beetle? What animals might you find in your neighborhood? And what might those animals eat? So those last 2 questions required you to think of, what have you seen around you? What animals have you seen? And then what does that force you to think about? Who's eating him? And what he or she might be eating. So, in the city, the pigeons were actually afraid of the red-tailed hawk. He was swooping around, and although that's not his usual habitat, he's made a good home for himself there, just like the pigeons have, because the red-tailed hawk's major source of food is pigeons. So, follows where the food goes. The predator is an animal that eats other animals to survive. The connection of animals that eat other animals, that's like in a series. So, you have your beetle eats the leaf, something eats the beetle, so on and so forth. That's what a food chain is. It's that connection from the smallest part of energy in that food chain to the biggest thing that eats the other things. What does the beetle eat? In the video, he talked about moths. He saw moths flying around at night, and that's what the beetle eats. And then what eats the beetle? He also found a salamander in his backyard. So I saw a lot of really great answers on this one. What animals might you find in your backyard? I saw birds, hawks, raccoons, squirrels, and some interesting things that they might eat. I saw people say seeds. For the raccoons, I saw people mention trash, which makes sense, right? Mice. And squirrels are something that the hawks would eat. Okay? So let's talk about food chains first. Which of these is the predator? You can pause the video for a second if you're thinking. We have a bear, we have a flower, we have a chipmunk. Alright? Yes, the predator would be the bear. The predator is an animal that eats other animals. Which of these would be what the bear eats? So we have the great white shark, the fish, and the berries. So thinking of the bear, likes to live in the forests, we can rule out the great white shark. Okay? They're not in the same habitat. They would not ever run into each other, and to be honest, this great white shark probably would be a bit too big for him to eat. If you said the fish, that's one correct answer. However, the bears also like to eat berries. and basically anything they can get their hands on, or their paws on, I should say. So there is two things here that the bear considers food, and if he comes upon them, he will definitely snatch them up. So thinking about the food chains in your own backyard, what kind of animals do you see in your backyard? So if that animal is there, what food must be nearby for your animal to be there? So the important things with food chains is that they are connected. If you have a hawk in your area, that means something like a chipmunk or a squirrel also has to be nearby. In order for that bigger animal to be there, the smaller animals that it feeds on needs to live there as well. Okay? Same deal. If you have spiders building nests, then there has to be flies nearby. Even if you don't see any flies, even if you don't see any flying insects, the fact that that spider is there, he knows there's food nearby. He knows he can catch it. So the food chain is connection from one animal to the animal that eats it. So how does the bear depend on the grass? So we know he's not a big eater of grass. He prefers, fish, berries, some bigger types of food. But he absolutely depends on the health of that green grass here. Reason is, the grass is eaten by the cricket. These arrows show how the energy is passed from one to the other. The cricket is eaten by the fox, and then the fox is eaten by the bear. So in a food chain, all of these things are connected, and if you have one part of the food chain missing, or something disappeared, let's say all the crickets died out somehow, then there would be a big problem. The fox wouldn't have any food. The grass, it would grow more grass because there's not as many crickets there to eat it, and it would damage the entire food chain. So while we like to think of, what an animal eats as a nice straight line, just like you or me, animals have a very diverse diet. They like to eat a lot of things. They eat whatever is closest to them, whatever they're able to get. And with those multiple food chains, you get a food web. It's a series of connected food chains. So let's take a look at the bear again. What does the bear eat? So if you look at the arrows pointing toward the bear, so like the persimmon tree, he likes to eat that fruit. He also wouldn't mind a swallowtail caterpillar. And then you look here, here's our beaver. He likes to eat the beaver. So he's got 3 connections of food that black bear would eat. Meanwhile, over here we have the gray fox. Some things that he likes to eat are the swallowtail caterpillars. I think that's the only thing we have listed for him. So let's think about this super important caterpillar. We know the black bear feeds on it. We know the gray fox feeds on it. If that caterpillar isn't there, then your ecosystem, your habitat is in trouble. Then the gray fox doesn't have anything to eat, or the black bear. Maybe since that caterpillar's not there, the black bear has to eat more of the fruit trees. Or it has to eat more of the beavers, right? So all of the food webs, all the habitats are all very interconnected. And when one thing goes missing, or one thing is damaged in that food web, maybe by pollution or something similar to that, or maybe by deforestation where they lose parts of their habitat and other things go with it, then you start to run into big trouble. What would happen if the food web was disrupted? If the beavers disappeared from this habitat, who would it affect? So let's take a look at this beaver, right? He's kind of in the middle as far as the food chains and food webs are concerned. And any arrows that lead to another animal, like the bobcat and the bear, would be affected. However, the animals or the creatures or the plants that he eats would be affected as well. If this beaver isn't here to eat the silver maple tree, then maybe that silver maple tree will grow too much. There'll be too many saplings. It will throw off the balance of that ecosystem. All right. So with food webs, everything's very connected. Everything that you see in a habitat also assumes that there's another creature there that he feeds on, and there might be a creature that feeds on it. So when we finish this up, I want you to go back to the assignment and complete the questions. Also, I've added those questions to Edpuzzle, so you can just do them right there to get credit for this. Make sure you record a Flipgrid if you have any additional questions, and I hope to see you guys soon.